Welcome back to War Machines Chronicles. Today, we're diving into the history of an aircraft that wasn't just a machine of war, but a symbol of defiance and a legend in the skies, the North American B-25 Mitchell. This wasn't just any medium bomber, it was the workhorse, the bruiser, and the hero of countless missions across every theater of World War II. From the drawing boards of North American aviation in the late 1930s, the B-25 was born out of a need for a modern, versatile medium bomber. Named in honor of General Billy Mitchell, a vocal and controversial advocate for American air power, the plane first took to the skies in 1940. By 1941, it was entering service, ready for a conflict that would soon engulf the globe. Its design was practical and robust. A distinctive twin-tail, twin-engine configuration that gave it stability and a memorable silhouette. With a crew of 5 to 6 men, it was a flying fortress in miniature, designed to endure the hellish environments of aerial combat. But what truly cemented the B-25 in the halls of history happened just months after America entered the war. The date was April 18, 1942. The nation was still reeling from the shock of Pearl Harbor. Morale was low. Japan seemed unstoppable. Then an idea was born, a mission so audacious, so seemingly impossible, that it bordered on suicidal. The plan: launch 16 B-25 Mitchells, land-based bombers, from the deck of an aircraft carrier, the USS Hornet, and strike the heart of the Japanese Empire, Tokyo itself. This was the Doolittle Raid. These bombers were never designed for carrier takeoffs. The runway was dangerously short, the margin for error was zero. Yet led by the legendary Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle, the crews accomplished the impossible. They roared off the Hornet's deck and flew hundreds of miles over enemy waters to deliver their payload. While the physical damage to Tokyo was limited, the psychological impact was immense. For the Americans, it was a massive morale boost, a sign that they could and would fight back. For the Japanese, it was a stunning blow, shattering the illusion that their homeland was invulnerable. The B-25 Mitchell had just become a legend. But the Doolittle Raid was just the beginning of the B-25's incredible story. Its versatility was its greatest strength. In the skies over Europe, North Africa, and the Mediterranean, it flew strategic and tactical bombing missions, hitting marshalling yards, bridges, and enemy supply lines. However, it was in the vast expanse of the Pacific theater where the Mitchell truly earned its fearsome reputation. The war in the Pacific was a naval war, a war of island hopping and sea control. Here, the B-25 was adapted into a brutal, low-level attack platform. Its primary mission became hunting and destroying Japanese shipping. Pilots would fly mere feet above the waves, a technique known as skip bombing, releasing their bombs so they would skip across the water's surface like a flat stone striking enemy ships at the waterline, where they were most vulnerable. Imagine the terror of seeing a B-25 screaming towards you at wave-top height, its guns blazing. Let's talk about that firepower, because it was absolutely devastating. The B-25 was a flying arsenal. Depending on the variant, it could be armed with anywhere from 8 to an incredible 18x50 caliber. Browning M2 machine guns. They bristled from the nose, from dorsal and ventral turrets, from the waist, and from the tail. This created a 360-degree field of defensive fire that made it a tough target for enemy fighters. But the offensive armament was where it got truly terrifying. The standard bomb load was up to 3,000 pounds, carried in an internal bomb bay. But the attack variants, like the B-25H and the B-25J, were something else entirely. Some models were fitted with a massive 75mm cannon in the nose, essentially a flying field artillery piece. This cannon, the largest ever mounted on a production bomber, could punch holes in ships, tanks, and concrete bunkers. Alongside this cannon, the nose would often be packed with additional forward-firing 50-caliber machine guns. When a strafer B-25 opened up, it was like a tidal wave of lead and high explosives. It could shatter ship bridges, suppress anti-aircraft positions, and tear apart ground targets with unmatched ferocity. This firepower, combined with its rugged construction, made the B-25 a pilot's plane. It was known for being able to absorb an incredible amount of punishment and still bring its crew home. There are countless stories of Mitchells returning to base, riddled with holes, with one engine out, and with parts of their wings or tail shot away. Its twin Wright R2600 Cyclone radial engines provided reliable power, pushing the aircraft to speeds of around 275 miles per hour with a range of over 1,300 miles. It wasn't the fastest or the highest flying bomber, but it was tough, dependable, and perfectly suited for the brutal, down and dirty missions it was assigned. The B-25's legacy is defined by this blend of audacity and adaptability. From the high-stakes gamble of the Doolittle Raid to the relentless, gritty work of strafing enemy convoys in the Pacific, the Mitchell proved itself time and time again. It was a machine that could be a strategic bomber one day and a close air support gunship the next. Nearly 10,000 B-25s were built, serving not only with the U.S. Army Air Forces, but also with the British Royal Air Force, the Soviet Air Force, and many other Allied nations. Even after the war, the B-25 continued to serve in various roles, and today, dozens of these historic aircraft are lovingly maintained by collectors and museums, still taking to the skies at air shows around the world. Their distinctive shape and the thunderous roar of their radial engines serve as a living tribute to the crews who flew them and the pivotal role they played in securing victory. The B-25 Mitchell wasn't just a piece of hardware, it was an icon of Allied air power. It represents the courage of the Doolittle Raiders, the tenacity of the Pacific skip bombers, and the industrial might that turned the tide of the war. It remains one of the most beloved and respected aircraft of its era, a true legend of the sky. Thanks for joining us on War Machines Chronicles. If you enjoyed this look at the legendary B-25 Mitchell, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you do not miss our next journey into the history of incredible war machines. See you next time.